Thailand is shopping for missiles and India's BrahMos just made the shortlist. Bangkok is evaluating the anti-ship version of this supersonic cruise missile to modernize its navy, right as the Indo-Pacific turns into the world's most contested waterway. Thailand is not picking sides between the US and China. It's doing what it always does, hedging, diversifying, keeping every door open. But for India, this is bigger than one deal. At least 16 countries have now queued up to buy the BrahMos. The Philippines, Vietnam and Indonesia already have it. So is BrahMos quietly becoming Southeast Asia's missile of choice? Is India emerging as the region's preferred defense partner? And what message does Thailand's interest send to India? Thailand's geography explains everything. The country sits between the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand, overlooking some of the world's busiest maritime trade routes. Nearly all of its international trade depends on secure sea lanes. At the same time, Southeast Asia is witnessing growing military competition. China's expanding naval presence, tensions in the South China Sea, and the increasing militarization of the Indo-Pacific have pushed regional countries to strengthen coastal defense. For Thailand, buying more warships alone is not the answer. Modern military planners increasingly rely on anti-access and area denial capabilities. In simple terms, they want missiles capable of threatening enemy warships long before they reach national waters. This is exactly where BrahMos fits. Traveling at nearly Mach 3, the missile dramatically reduces an adversary's reaction time. It can be deployed from coastal batteries, ships, submarines and aircraft, making it one of the most flexible anti-ship systems currently available. Here's a number worth pausing on. BrahMos costs roughly $3 to $5 million per missile. That's actually more expensive than America's Tomahawk, priced between $1.5 to $2 million. The BrahMos is not winning on price alone. It's winning on capability, speed, and proven combat performance. And it's not alone. India's Pinaka rocket system runs significantly cheaper than the American HIMARS. The Nag and Helena anti-tank missiles cost roughly half of the US Hellfire. Across India's missile portfolio, systems are landing 20 to 50% cheaper than Western equivalents, according to industry estimates. For countries with real budget constraints, that combination of performance and cost is difficult to ignore. This story is about much more than one missile. For decades, India was known as one of the world's largest arms importers. Today, it is steadily becoming a defense exporter. India's overall defense exports touched over 21,000 crore rupees in a recent fiscal year, a jump of over 32%, with buyers now coming from more than 85 countries. If Thailand signs on, it further cements India's position as a serious, credible defense exporter in Southeast Asia, not a fallback option, but a genuine contender against established Western and Russian suppliers. Every BrahMos contract creates decades of military cooperation through maintenance, software upgrades, spare parts, joint exercises, and operator training. That builds strategic influence that extends far beyond the initial sale. The Philippines demonstrated that, Indonesia followed, Vietnam expanded the trend. Thailand could become another milestone in India's Act East strategy and its broader Indo-Pacific vision. Thailand's missile shopping is not happening in isolation. Across the Indo-Pacific, nations are pouring money into modern ships, radar systems, and long-range precision weapons, regardless of how close their political ties to Beijing are. Most Southeast Asian nations continue trading extensively with China while simultaneously strengthening defense partnerships with India, Japan, Australia, and the US. This is strategic hedging. Countries do not necessarily want military alliances, they want options. BrahMos gives them precisely that. A highly capable anti-ship missile allows smaller naval powers to impose heavy costs on any hostile fleet attempting to operate close to their coastlines. That changes the regional military equation without requiring massive defense budgets. For India, every BrahMos battery deployed abroad expands Delhi's strategic footprint across the Indo-Pacific and reinforces its image as a dependable security partner. So what's really changing here is not just India's export ledger, it's the calculus buyers use to choose a weapon. For decades, defense procurement followed alliance lines. BrahMos breaks that pattern. Countries with no historical defense relationships with India, from Brazil to Egypt to Thailand, are evaluating it purely because it performs and it's precise within reach. That's a harder, more durable kind of a demand than a one-off deal driven by diplomacy. It also puts pressure on the older defense giants, the US, Russia, France, who've long assumed their market share was safe, simply because few countries had a serious alternative. India is now that alternative. And every additional buyer does not just add revenue, it adds credibility, making the next sale easier than the last. That's the quiet shift underway, not India chasing contracts, but India becoming the default option other nations reach for first. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep watching Times Access.
If they had a nuclear weapon,
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
no tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy, and power seen through India's eyes. From Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India. How one move by China can affect India's security. What turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability. How Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood. Why oil choke points can hit your wallet. How wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling. Daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations. Because news is everywhere, but perspective is rare, and in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly. To understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.